Hey, what's going on everybody? This is a part 2 on using the palette maker build. If you haven't seen part 1 on the palette maker build and all the fun stuff that comes with it, I have a link to the video in the description. Without further ado, let's get started. So why are we making a part 2? Well, since I made that video, I made some changes, I made some more changes, and then I kind of sat on it for a while. And I think I'm at the point where, let's get it out to the public. We can make future updates as needed. Now, what is so different from, you know, part 1 to like the part 2 video? Well, it's going to be expansions. Because when you want to mod a game, usually you want to add characters to the game, and then you want to add costumes, which is, the whole thing of Palette Maker. So when you get this build, you're going to see this folder right here. And let's go into the data folder, and let's go into character. And there you go, bam. You have an expansions folder. In this expansions folder, this is where you're going to drop in your expansions. So if you have an expansion, let's say we got permission from Smash Fan Cut to include some of their content. So I have that here. So all you do is you make a new folder, and you can copy this very similar format of, the character file, a costumes file. I'll go over that in a second. The portrait art, and then the stock icon. The settings icon, the settings folder. This is just more of like just trying to get the portrait art to fit in the character select screen as well as the classic mode. And then costumes. This is literally if you're just pulling the raw costume data from whatever build you originally got it from, so that way it will show up in the palette maker build. Alrighty. With all that being said, what you're going to see in a moment is all of these characters are going to be in here. So we're going to hit play. And then once we hit play, we can go into Vault, Manage Costumes. You won't see this notification, but it will say if you ever add a new character, it's going to say that it needs caching, and that you'll have to cache it. Once you hit yes, then it's going to go through and cache it. Well, we're not going to do that, but what we should be able to do is, let's open up the night. Yeah, it's already in there. So there you go. It's an expansion character, just like any other character. You're able to control it, able to hide the UI, pause, all that fun stuff. Not much has changed. Let me just go into full screen here. With the actual UI, maybe some slight tweaks. I do know import color sheets now, you can select more than one sheet. So that way if you're trying to do multiple costumes outside of the palette maker build, well, you can just import them, all at once. As you can see, all those costumes and costumes.json for expansion characters will all pop in here. And you can make edits as needed. And then, we have all of our normal things about, exporting, importing, all the costume pack stuff works. I did include some of the Smash Fan Cut, exclusive costume stuff, so you can make costumes using the Smash Fan Cut recolors. So, there's that. I did spend some extra time on making expansions work on all modes. So there's an expansion slot right here. We can cycle through and pick a character, obviously. I am working on a cloning process. I haven't released anything yet, but in a future version of the mod manager you'll actually be able to clone characters relatively easily and possibly make new slots. But that's for a later video, right? As you can see, we could select Boo. He's got a stock icon and everything. There you go, he just kind of works in game. Alright, you don't need to see my terrible... Ooh, that's cool. Who's pissed? Alright. Again, like, at this point, it like has nothing to do with making palettes, but I guess if you wanted to test it, you know, in other modes. So you kind of see what I'm saying, you know, stock icon, the portrait art in the classic menu map screen. You can pretty much use them anywhere. Should work in all-star mode. Yep. You can select them in an event. What else do we got here? All your stadium stuff. Now, you cannot select them for the character specific. And if you do select them and then you go here, it'll prevent you from doing that. So, yeah. Home run contest. What am I doing? Let's see, what else? I mean, want to do race to the finish. You know, that's there as well. Whee! Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much it. Again, under data character expansions, this is where you can put all the files. You could even just, kind of place this right here, and then it would just kind of already work. But yeah, big thing expansions. Also in the description, I will have this build, so you can access it and start making costumes right away. And looking forward to seeing some more costumes on the Discord. Have a great day, everybody.